Hey all, my name is AJ.
And I'm Courtney.
And we'd like to welcome you to our new YouTube channel, Ocean's Books.
And stuff.
Today we'd like to go over the type of content that we want to start creating for all of you guys, and we'd really love to share it on the YouTube community, so this is something that we're really excited about. So we really wanted to make this channel because we think it's going to be really interesting to get kind of a different perspective on the Booktube community that Courtney and I watch. So we do see that there are a lot of popular videos, popular channels to where they mostly talk a whole lot of popular trending books that are being released. We see that there's a lot of focus on a lot of YA genre books, to where there's a lot of like YA fantasy, YA romance, a lot of series in that regard. And in regards to that, we wanted to give our perspective in what we find interesting a lot. We think it's going to be really interesting to give our take because, for me at least, I'm the type of reader who sticks with like the contemporary genre, to where it's just kind of just stories in regards to regular people doing regular things. I don't know, I've always just found that interesting. And I'm a sucker for like horror novels, so I really absolutely love like Stephen King books. I want to actually start branching out in watching videos in regards to the YA genre. It's something to where I do find myself not always liking it as much. I will give one unpopular opinion right now. Hunger Games. It's a Hunger Games trilogy. I was actually not the biggest fan of those books, but that's actually why Courtney and I wanted to make these videos, because I really want to get into rereading books to where I didn't necessarily like, just to see if, now that I'm a little bit older, I could get a different perspective. And I think it'll be really interesting to see if other viewers of our channel will have the same interest. Maybe you'll want to give some books a second chance.
Growing up, I used to read actually quite a lot, and then once I went to college, it was more focused on books that were for classes and the things that I was studying, and so I didn't really read for fun anymore at that point. And so finally, I started reading a little bit more after we got married. We started to read a little bit on our own, and so I started getting more into it. And now I look at the bookshelf half the time and I'm like, I really want to read that like right now. And so I've started seeing that I'm starting to get to the point where I do want to start reading more. And so I'm excited to do this channel so that we can read together, but also still read separately and get into things that I haven't read very much of, such as horror, because that's one thing that I actually haven't read too much on. I mostly go to like the regular fiction stories, things that have good titles that intrigue me, or good book covers. I know you're not supposed to do that, but I still do. So whenever I see something that really intrigues me with a good title and it looks nice and I open it up and the first paragraph is interesting to me, then that's basically how I choose what I want to read.
And like what Courtney was saying, we are going to be doing like certain projects to where Courtney and I are going to be reading a few books together. Like what I said earlier, I personally want to start getting into the YA genre a little bit more, solely because, yeah, it's a little lame that kind of going into a genre that's super, super popular. But I honestly think that maybe I was being a little bit too harsh in regards to on those specific types of books. And that's why I want to give those types of books a second chance to see, hey, maybe these weren't as bad. And I really do feel like getting two different perspectives on it is going to be interesting in the regard to where I really hope that people will relate a little bit more, so they could feel like this person actually wants to make content that we can relate to as well, rather than just saying, oh, this person's super popular, let's just watch their videos because they're super popular. We really want to branch out and make you feel a part of the community, and we think that's going to be really fun to do. We also want to branch out a whole lot more in the type of content that we're going to be adding. As Courtney said, the channel is called Ocean's Books and Stuff. That stuff will actually include video games. We both really like to game a lot. That's another reason why we kind of want to make these videos, is because maybe sometimes we play video games a little bit too much. So this will help us reel it in and start reading a whole lot more. We also want to do stuff in regards to movies. I'm a really big movie buff. Courtney likes to watch movies with me, or at least she likes to pretend to. And this is more on Courtney's side, but we also want to do some stuff in regards to music. Won't go into too much detail in that, just because we're kind of still building out what we want to do. The biggest reason why we're doing this is we really just want to branch out and do something new. We find that we just tend to do a lot of the same stuff a lot, and life could get a little bit boring, and we want to do stuff that's going to bring a little bit more spark to our everyday life, because again, everybody goes to work, everybody has their day-to-day chores that they need to do with errands and stuff, and it could just get boring, and we really think it's going to be a whole lot of fun to do this. I know Courtney's had a lot of stuff with videos that she's liked to make.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this because it's also going to just motivate me, probably both of us, but just to read more. It's going to be something that's going to help us to continue to read more than we usually do. It's going to help us to discuss video games more rather than to just play them and then move on, where we can actually talk more about why we like those games and things like that, where we can actually get into things more on a deeper level than, like he said, just going day to day kind of the same. This is going to bring us together. It's going to bring hopefully you in with us, and so I'm really excited for it for those reasons.
I'm really excited too, and I think Ocean's really excited, and maybe one day if she decides to appear in this video, you'll see how excited she can be.
We hope that our channel attracts people with similar interests to us and things that we are doing on the channel.
We want to go ahead and look into some of the smaller channels. We know that sometimes it's really hard to get like a lot of channels off the ground. We want to incorporate a lot of people to chime in and talk with us. We want to be proactive with the community and make you guys feel like, hey, you guys are a smaller channel too. Let's give each other all the support, because I really do think that there are a ton of great channels that go unnoticed, and that's why we want to just push for that to start getting the recognition that some people want, and I think that's going to be really awesome that we could all do that together. Alright guys, thank you so much for tuning in to our new channel. Again, it is Ocean's Books.
And stuff.
Yeah, it's cheesy. See you guys.